at this current time, we don't have the right mix of listings, right? My face is flailing.
You will have some type of coverage. Hi, I'm Tim Somerville.
And I'm Michael Dempsey, and this is Off the Market with good old Team Somerville.
So,
How are you today?
you know what? I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Warmer weather's coming, and
Absolutely.
the water's starting to subside, which means the boats are going to go in soon.
That's all right. Well, we are now in our first full week of May.
That's right.
And so, I mean, the weather's gorgeous. We got a little bit of rain here and there, but you know what? We kind of need it.
Yeah, but big difference with real estate, phones are ringing.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
Yeah, emails, texts.
Yeah, I've noticed in a short time span how green things are starting to be. How, I'd say within days, it's been very, I think, uplifting.
Yes. And that's for everybody. Warmer weather always means that, again, for real estate, it brings a lot to the table. So let's get right into it. What do I have for you right now?
Well, I thought we would go down the path of how the market has been year to date, and I'm going to throw you a couple curveballs and see what your insights are.
I can hit a curveball.
Oh, I know you can. I've seen it happen. All right. So we look at new listings year to date. Our new listings are up 3%. That's great.
Yeah.
Our average sale price year to date is up 7%.
So we're 340, 330.
Close to it, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. So we're up 7%. Active listings. And again, these stats are just for the St. John market. Just want to, reiterate that. So year to date active listings are up 8.6%.
Wow.
So we've got some great listings.
Good.
But our sales are down year to date 13%.
Okay. So that usually means that we're going to start seeing the market change a little bit from a seller's market towards a balanced market. But I wrote on one the other day, 19 offers.
Yes.
My client got it, which was great, which again, we have to go in and say, listen, it's almost like a roulette wheel. Spin the wheel. We got this one, but there were still 19 offers.
I know. So I said again, year to date compared to last year, new listings up, average sale price up, active listings up, sales down 13%.
Wow.
So it got me thinking. I pulled all the residential listings in St. John.
Okay.
Now, as of this morning, there was 161 residential single family homes. 80 of them are at average selling price and below.
Okay.
So we have 50% of our homes on the market right now are above, and in some cases, well above the average sale price.
Okay.
So that is just one major indicator of why our sales are down. Because like you said, the homes that are priced at average, per se, and lower, those are the ones we're fighting over. Well, those are the ones 19 offers. Even if they got 3 offers, there's people chomping at the bits to get those homes.
That property was actually listed at 350. Now it's sold for over 4. I won't give any numbers, but I will tell you that just the list price alone is so important. And if you price it right, chances are you'll be on the upper 50%, not that lower 50.
Glad you said that, because that is another indicator of homes in sales being down just slightly. We do see some homes hitting the market, thinking it's still 2021. Well, the quarter out there. So a quarter a tad bit too high. And again, I just think at this current time, we don't have the right mix of listings, right price. So I think that's why, overall sales are down. But again, that's not a bad thing for you. That's not a bad thing for sellers. We just got to make sure we're pricing it right. And again, like Tim said, 19 offers on that one listing.
Well, we're listing a home. And when speaking to the vendor more or less looked at myself and one of our associates and said, listen, you guys are the professionals. We're going to follow your lead. Where should we be listed at? And so sometimes as a realtor, you don't want to, insult the seller, but, not that it's a gut punch, but that pricing strategy is so important. So with this one, it's a unique home. It's a little bit outside of the city. And so when we priced it, I walked away feeling like, okay, wait a moment. This is the right price. We should get this sold. But it is above the average.
Yeah.
And because it's above the average, even though we've now priced it right, there still is that hesitancy. Okay, wait a moment. Will we find our buyer? Yeah. So there is that sweet spot, and right information.
So, one piece of information I want to, give a shout out to is a lot of people look at the national news, they hear stories, they hear this, they hear that. We look at our colleagues in Fredericton and Moncton, a lot of things have balanced out. We look at our friends in Halifax, a lot of great ballots. And then you hear horror stories. Yes, it's great. GTA down, some areas of Quebec down, some areas in Alberta are doing pretty well. But we are your local experts, and like St. John is not cooling off.
No.
So I just want people to remember that you see all the national news, and maybe you see, oh, the national sales is down, this and that. 8.6%. I know. We're still buzzing like crazy here. So again, any questions, whether you're buying or selling, we'd love to be your first.
That's right. That's right. So great information. Let's tip the scale and let's go from on the market to off the market.
What you got?
Well, you know what? Knowing that you're going to be helping me with my dock soon, and
Pretty soon.
yeah, pretty soon, and get the boat in and so forth. I wanted to talk about recreational vehicles, New Brunswick. We look at most people will have a side by side, or they have a travel trailer or fifth wheel, they snowmobile. There are different things there, and of course, a boat or some PWC. So when you look at the watercrafts that they have and their different recreational vehicles, I wanted to look into New Brunswick and see where we stood with that. Now, recreational vehicles, almost $350 million is spent on travel trailers and fifth wheels per year.
Is that here locally?
Just New Brunswick.
Just New
Yeah, yeah, no.
We have that kind of money?
Well, but when you look around, I mean, I was driving to the office today after getting this information, and I don't know if I went 3 homes without seeing a trailer in the yard. And so you'd be surprised how many people have them. Now, saying that, I find with travel trailers, they have a lifespan, right? Their lifespan, most people, it's that 2-foot-itis with travel trailers, right? All of a sudden I have this, no, I need something 2 feet bigger. I need 2 feet bigger. I need this, I need that. So many people that own them, I find that they do that. And then of course they go from that. And at some point they may downsize to a smaller one. Maybe the family's starting to shrink a little bit. So it was unique to see that we're spending that kind of money. Now, side by sides, and you and I both have one.
Yeah.
And ATVs, approximately $100 million is spent per year on side by sides and ATVs. And that made sense to me because, again, almost every home with a trailer, well, they probably have an ATV side by side and so forth. And we have some phenomenal trails.
Absolutely.
I was talking to a client yesterday out near Sussex, and he was saying that he literally is planning a trip to go from Sussex to Edmundston. And so it just goes to show that we really don't appreciate the trails that we have in this province. And again, I can see why people enjoy that.
That's a long journey.
Oh, so I brought up some others.
Yeah.
I did bring up snowmobiles. We have approximately 19 to 20,000 people that are registered with their snowmobiles. We know that many people have snowmobiles that are probably not registered with the province, but you're still probably in that $10 to $15 million per year on snowmobiles. Smaller price per, season is smaller, but those that have them, they love them.
Absolutely. I say northern New Brunswick probably has the majority of those.
Well, with me, with some of these, it's not just the machine, it's what you carry the machine in. And you see these, fully encompassed or covered in trailers.
Yep.
And those that love them, the warming huts and doing this, doing that, they of course, they enjoy it. Now, for me, not so much on the snowmobiles, just again, I know they're fast and I know the season's, short, but I like the water over the snow. Yeah. And I know my wife doesn't like the cold, so guess what? So the last one I looked at was boats. Now, boats of approximately 100 million per year. With that, there's about 100 to 150 boats at any time in New Brunswick is usually for sale. So if you're looking for a boat, there's probably always one that you can get. You just have to look. But the funny thing about boats is, and you and I were talking about it, the 2 best days of owning a boat, well, the second best day is when you bought it, and the best day
It's when you sell it.
is when you sell it. Many people, of course, with boats have issues and everything else, and they're like, I'm done. I'm done. So I've been fortunate, usually with an outboard. Yes, I've had different things, but sitting on the pontoon boat in the summer, you know what it's like.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Oh, it's
And
fantastic.
it's just like the other recreational vehicles. So you have one boat, and like you said, now I need the bigger one.
That's
I
right.
need the one with the extra.
Oh, yeah.
So outboard mode, bigger outboard. I need to go faster.
That's right.
And then as your family downsizes,
That's right. That's right. So, and I've already done that. So I know that, like I said, and I was talking to a friend the other day. He's had 4 pontoons, and it's just like, okay, now what was wrong with the first one? Probably could still have it, but you want to get better, you want to get bigger, and anyway,
and when you feel the need for speed, you hop on your Sea-Doo.
that's right.
Jet ski.
The jet skis.
That is so much fun. Long cartoon when I'm on that thing, my face is flailing.
Yeah, if you're not wearing glasses, you're crying with the comeback.
They're tears of joy.
Yeah, the tears of joy. That's right. So let's get into real estate.
Yes.
So when we look at offers, I was trying to think about a couple things that I felt, we could talk about.
Yeah.
And one is very, it just rips me, is that we get offers all the time. And there are 3 major areas that need to be done on every offer. You need a price, okay? You need a closing date, and you need your signature. That second one, the closing date, many offers, realtors will put in the closing date, and in the condition for a closing date, they'll say, see clause 11, which means that what they're really saying is, well, we'll decide on a closing date after we get this accepted, making sure that it's satisfactory to both parties. Legally, you need a closing date. So it's always best for you to put a specific closing date, and in the clause where conditions are, you can always write, closing date is flexible between this date and that date. And that second part that I mentioned, you know as well as I do, most people don't put that. They just put closing date as flexible. So now the vendor could say, well, I want to close 3 years from now. Well, that's flexible.
Yeah.
Right. So you really have to just hone in on your conditions, make sure they're done properly, make sure they're done thorough. Now, other than that, I did want to talk about the fact that the final walkthrough. So the closing date is one thing, but your final walkthrough, and we've seen this, we believe the final walkthrough should be done the morning of closing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 2 reasons. Number one is, if you do it the night before, yes, sometimes it's a convenience factor, but that means after you've left that home at 5 p.m., the next morning the lawyer closes the deal. What if something happened to that house during that time frame? Maybe it's during the winter, maybe the heat stopped working, maybe the pipes are frozen now. You go in and guess what? So there are just many, many caveats of doing your final walkthrough the night before. And we at Team Somerville, we highly, highly, highly recommend trying to do that the day of. And sometimes there is a reason why you're doing it the night before, but 99.9% of the time, we would prefer to see you do it the morning of. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. If you'll recall, a few weeks ago, we had your daughter Brittany on, and she was discussing a property. It was a duplex, and it had just been completely renovated. Absolutely gorgeous. She'd been in it the day before. The next day, she shows up for another showing, and a pipe broke.
Oh, yeah.
What if that was the final walk? What did I show it last?
Oh, my goodness.
That was the final walk. She showed up the next morning. Here's your keys.
Oh, yes.
And there's water pouring everywhere.
Right. And theoretically, you've done your final walkthrough. The deal is closed. Now, it is going to be hard for the vendor to come back and say, oh, well, yes, I guess we'll take care of that. Because there could have been reasons why certain things happened. It may be because they turned the power off and had it disconnected, and you were not having it reconnected until the day of closing. So that day in between could be the reason. So if you've already closed the deal, good luck. Right. One more thing about closing dates, and I'll go into my other topic. And that is, watch the date that you are closing. No Saturdays, no Sundays, no holidays. And the one that's got us a couple times as of late, go ahead.
September 30th.
Yeah, Truth and Reconciliation Day. Because we're not used to having that as a provincial holiday, the circumstances is that when we look at that, is provincial or is that federal? I think it's federal. Yeah, federal holiday. What is? National Truth and Reconciliation. But you'd be surprised how many times we try to close at the end of a month. Well, September 30th, you go to close the deal. Guess what? You're going to have to change that date.
We're not perfect. We've stumbled on it a couple of times.
That's right. That's right. So So closing date's very important. Just make sure you have the right professional working on your behalf, making sure that those dates all into place.
And I always try to do no Fridays.
Oh yes, oh yes. There are some lawyers that don't work Fridays. That's one reason, but the main reason is because if there are any issues, now you have to wait the whole weekend, and it falls into the Monday. At least if you're closing on Thursdays, if there are any issues, at least that it falls into Friday.
Exactly. And I bring up the domino effect where we have such tight inventory. We're seeing a lot of more conditional offers. So people who need to sell their home to buy the next home. So in some cases, Tim's had some properties where 4 in a row needed to close. Well, this closes, the money goes to this lawyer, the money goes to this lawyer. Sometimes there's not enough hours in the day.
I agree.
So, like you said, it's going to spill over to the other guy.
Okay. Well, let's go to another.
Yes. Well, I was good. Oh, do you want to do?
Yes. Let me do this one, and then you can wrap up the show. Okay. Yeah, come on. I'm on a roll here.
A lot of pressure.
Respect. Title insurance.
Yes.
So, title insurance is something that many people do not completely understand what it is and what it is for. So, title insurance is used on many of our real estate transactions because what it does, it allows the purchaser to buy a one-time premium, usually for an average of about $350. And that one-time premium takes the place of a survey, well, what we call a surveyor's real property report or a building location certificate. Now, if you have one of those, you may or may not need title insurance, but we still, believe it or not, even if you have that, for the price of $350, still recommend getting it. Now, imagine that somebody's property line or fence is not what you thought it was. Maybe your building encompasses or encroaches onto somebody else's. Maybe your driveway, there's an issue with your driveway where, again, somebody on one side or the other, or yourself, of course, all of a sudden has some reason that somebody may stake a claim against you, or you have to stake a claim against them because of a discrepancy. So title insurance is there. It acts as an insurance to allow you to have that security blanket that on most of these occasions, you will have some type of coverage, whether or not it corrects it, whether or not there is a financial amount that is given to one party or the other. But it's very important to know that, again, in our province, in New Brunswick, there are many, many times that just things were done years ago where John allowed Jack to allow Jane to build here, do this, do whatever. No permits, no this, no that. So you'd be surprised how many times this actually does come into play. Now, saying that, the difference between title insurance and, say, a building location certificate is the fact that with title insurance, it's not transferable. So if you have it, great. If you go to sell your home, the new purchaser would have to go and obtain their own title insurance. So yeah, it's here. I think it is. Again, one of the main reasons I think that that's that way is because within the time frame that you own the property, there could have been changes to the land or to the property. And so this way, again, it's a fresh, insurance premium. And again, not just that, please keep in mind that, again, it's never a guarantee, but again, it is kind of like that security blanket, which I think is important.
Better be safe.
Your thoughts?
No, I completely agree. Better to be safe than sorry, that's for sure. Yeah. And you bring up some great points about some driveways sometimes have been slightly on someone else's land. Perhaps they live on a bit of a corner. And so having that driveway over here just a little bit gives them a bit more room to get out safely. But then if it's not sent over to, what do they call it? Like from air to air.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you don't have that proper right of way in place, that becomes a problem.
Oh, yeah. And we can get into right of ways at some point. There are different types of right of ways. But the most important, I guess, what I want you to get out of this is the fact that your closing costs are going to have different things. This is one of the most affordable items you can do when purchasing a property. And your lawyer will definitely recommend or should recommend you having this because of the price and because of the coverage. And especially if you own that home for any period of time, it just, again, hopefully you can sleep a little bit better knowing that you have that on your property. Okay, I'm done. Yeah. That was your turn.
Well, I want to talk about being proudly Canadian.
Okay.
We are part of a proudly Canadian company, and I actually wanted to go to the store and get us a nice little Canada flag, for maybe future episodes.
That's right.
Again, we said it 100 times. We'll keep saying it. Royal LePage, a Canadian company.
Yeah.
So I thought about some of the 22 UNESCO World Heritage sites. Let's just talk. I'm not going to name them all, but we're going to talk about some beautiful sites that we have here in Canada. Some you and I have been to.
Yes.
Some we may not have heard of, but it's great information to have. So I know personally, you have been to a place called Iceberg Alley.
It's cool.
It's a cool place. It is a stretch of water along the eastern coast of Newfoundland and Labrador where the icebergs can be seen. So you're sitting there, maybe having coffee or whatnot, and you can see the icebergs flow by. It's going with the tide. Fantastic. Now this one I've never been to. I don't think you and I get up to the Northwest Territories too often.
No, I've been there for a bit.
It's been a while. The Nahanni National Park Reserve, and again, I apologize if I butchered the name Nahanni, but it's a 30,000 square kilometer park in the Northwest Territories. It features some of the deepest canyons in Canada.
Wow.
Breathtaking alpine vistas and a Canadian heritage river. Wow. Absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
Now let's go back to one where I know we both personally been to. Old Quebec City.
Oh, yeah.
Old Quebec is gorgeous. It's beautiful. I know your wife loves it there too.
My goodness.
Cobblestone roads. So it is, Old Quebec City is the birthplace of the French North America and has been a World Heritage Site since 1985. So it's been a while. It's about 40 plus years, 41 years. Now, have you ever heard of Dinosaur Provincial Park?
Well, is that in that place in Alberta?
It is.
Yes.
So it's located in Alberta's Badlands, contains some of the most important fossil discoveries ever made from the age of reptiles.
Whoa.
Who know? Now, great old place that we've been to before is Old Town Lunenburg. Oh, yeah. What's Lunenburg famous for? You maybe remember the Heritage commercial?
The Blue Nose
wins! So it is a beautifully preserved 18th century British colony.
Okay.
It's just like the old architecture, the heritage. I didn't know that it was that well preserved.
That's good.
There's a place called Perce Rock in Quebec.
Never been there.
Never been there, but it's a 375 million year old rock that weighs about 5 million tons.
No. Just tell me who's assessing this rock and say, oh, that's, I don't know.
Who's that old Greek god that held the earth on its back? Or is that a thing? Is it Atlas or? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, maybe he picked it up one day. The Sleeping Giant. The Sleeping Giant is famous for its difficult top of the Giant Trail, which leads to the tallest cliffs in Ontario.
Really?
In fact, we were looking at it's in. Oh crap! I didn't see that. Just says Ontario Bars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought maybe you'd have heard of it.
Right.
Ontario one, man. Oh well, this one's easy. Cabot Trail.
Oh yes.
I think there's 30 plus trails there. Good old Cape Breton Highlands. Absolutely gorgeous. And where are we heading the end of October?
We're going to Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls.
Of course. Yeah.
I've not been there since I was 18 years old.
Really?
It's been a long time.
Okay.
So if you're not sure or you're not been aware of what Niagara Falls is, we do have the biggest horseshoe falls in the world, approximately 57 meters tall, and it's the most powerful waterfall in North America. And no, they don't sell barrels for you to go down.
But you know what? You mentioned Old Quebec in Quebec. Yeah. In Quebec, there's Montmorency Falls, and they're actually taller than Niagara Falls.
Really?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
How about Banff?
Oh,
But all I am.
you and I were
there years ago.
Yeah,
Some years ago.
we didn't do the polar dip in the glacial lake, but we sure put our feet in there. Let's just say I was in and out. But while myself and Brittany, my daughter, we were doing that, we look over to our right, and there's the 3 crazy guys down to their skivvies jumping into the lake, and it's like, okay, that's not happening.
No, I'm good. But I think as most Canadians truly understand and know what Banff National Park is. Yeah. And what about Moraine Lake?
Well, again,
We have Peter there.
oh,
Stunning lakes located in the Banff National Park. It's known for its turquoise colored water.
oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Now, what's next door to us? The Confederation Bridge.
Oh, really? That's on there.
It's on there because they say, it's a 13-kilometer bridge that goes from Edward Island to New Brunswick. It's been in place since 1997.
Okay.
And with that comes the gorgeous red sands of PEI. So that's another kind of little add. Is I think most of us have been, anyway, if you're born and raised in the Maritimes, you've probably been to Maritime, right? Right, PEI. Again, I'll just skim through the best ones here.
Go ahead.
What about, have you heard of Churchill, small town of Churchill in Manitoba?
No.
So on the southwest shores of the Hudson Bay, it's just a beautiful small town that draws thousands of tourists year after year because of the polar bears go there to summer.
No way. Yeah. No way.
All the polar bears can be, well, not all, like
No.
a majority of polar bears go there to summer.
Okay.
So it attracts the tourists there. Now, me, I would not get close.
No, that's what I was just going to say.
I'd be a kilometer away.
I'd never known them to be friendly animals. Well, okay, yeah.
And I'll finish up by saying good old Rancho, the CN Tower.
Oh, yes.
So the CN Tower, which is a 553-meter tall landmark, used to be the tallest freestanding structure in the world from 1974 to 2009.
Okay.
Obviously, there's breathtaking views, all that good stuff. Now, don't quote me on this. I think from 2009, I think most of the properties in Dubai took the record.
I would believe so. Well, actually, it was one in China that did.
Was there?
But I can't remember.
Well, we have to take in consideration from 1974 2004, we did have their tallest.
Okay.
So that is just a microscope version of the amazing sights and scenery that we have here in beautiful Canada. And I just want to take a moment to reiterate just how wonderful we do have it. All politics aside.
True. So when I think of New Brunswick, right, we have so many phenomenal areas that you can, travel or walk or swim or boat or whatever and enjoy, of course, nature at its best. So we're very fortunate in what we call, of course, the picture province. So when you think of New Brunswick, I know you mentioned, different things, but is there anything that stands out? You think, oh my goodness, we are so lucky to have that. And please don't say the reversing falls.
No. A lot of people take it for granted, but there's a lot of marvelous features of the Bay of Fundy.
True.
The highest tides.
That new the park is phenomenal. The St. Martin's.
What's that? Fundy National.
Fundy National. It's been phenomenal. So again, all kinds of trails, the scenery, it's spectacular. And I only say about the reversing falls because coming from Ontario and seeing Niagara Falls, a few times, when you hear reversing falls, you're like, oh my goodness, I can't wait. Now the unique thing about reversing falls, of course, you're supposed to go twice. Because you can't see it unless you go at low tide and high tide, so you can actually see the change of, the direction of the water. But saying that, we have some beautiful parks, and we have, of course, some great scenery. But the one thing I will say is that when we look at New Brunswick, within 20 minutes, half an hour to an hour, you're probably seeing something just phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Right? One of my favorite parks to go to, it's actually in Nova Scotia. It's in Truro. It's called Victoria Park. And Victoria Park is phenomenal. It's like this park that many people may or may not have even heard of. But they have this one part. It's called Jacob's Ladder. And Jacob's Ladders are these steps. You go from one plateau to another. And it is literally like a ladder. It's pretty cool. So anyway, make sure you
better write it down.
Yeah, breathing machine. You'll need it by the time you get to the top. But
I have hiked volcanoes in Ecuador.
Well, we have Black Beach.
Oh, yeah.
Which is in Laurinville.
Yeah.
And because of the volcanic ash and so forth, we have this sand that's black. And again, to get to it, you would think, oh, yes, they'll make sure that the road, oh, my goodness, back to our side-by-side. You almost need a side-by-side to get down to that beach. But it's a really cool beach as well.
So if you ever get tired of the white sands in Fiji and other Caribbean areas, come check out our black sand.
Black sand, that's right, Nick. And so anyway, but with that, that's great. I think we probably should wrap up another episode.
Yes. Well, again, I appreciate everyone joining us. I'm Michael.
I'm Tim, and this has been Off the Market with Team Somerville.